So welcome to our Vamanadeva Katha this evening. I hope everyone here speaks English, understands English. Okay. Meistens sprechen English because we're international. Also for the online audience, we usually go with English. Aber sprecht ihr Deutsch sonst?
Kein Englisch? Vielleicht kann jemand ein bisschen übersetzen. Am Rand irgendwo, damit es nicht hört. Also ich kann ein bisschen sonst übersetzen. Ja.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gramayam Darati Svavantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vagishayasya Vadane Lakshmiryasya Chavakshasi Yasya Dheriraye Samvit Tam Narasimham Maham Bhaje Pralada Yaladam Bhakta Vichavidaram Sharatindurjam Vande Pavindra Vandaram Harim. So, I tried to maybe pick a particular verse, but I couldn't decide. Yeah, it's okay. So I will speak a bit, how to say, about the whole 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam actually. Because the pastime of Sri Vamanadeva is to be found there. And many of you know, Vamanadeva is one of the 10 regular appearing avatars, called Dash avatars. And Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Krishna, what is it called? I forgot the full name. But he describes how the Dash avatars have some type of hierarchy amongst each other. We can understand on top, when we see also one of these pictures, is the Matsya avatar, the fish avatar, and then comes Kurmadev, the tortoise, and then comes Varahadev, the boar, and then comes half man, half lion, Narasimhadev. And then also Vamanadeva is coming, and then Ramachandra and so on. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this is kind of an evolutionary hierarchy amongst them, that from animal species gradually to human species the Lord appears, according to also how certain living entities develop themselves in terms of consciousness. And he says that when the people are short, then the Lord appears as Vamanadeva. Vamana means the dwarf, a dwarf Brahmana. And we saw him today also, Jagannath, being dressed like this. And when the Lord appears, he declares he always has 2 main purposes or 3 purposes. Paritanaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. That in each age or millennium, he decides to appear, and for once, Paritanaya sadhunam means to please those who are devotees of the Lord, or who are dedicated to the Lord. And vinashaya chaduskritam, duskritam is a term that would be translated as demons perhaps, but it's people who are like really, how to say, anti-God, kind of atheistic end. Yes. And then dharma samstapanataya, that he wants to always re-establish the true principles of spiritual life, religion. And with many Das avatars you find the Lord kills powerful demons. They battle with each other. Matsya has a great horn, for example, and he kills the demon Hayagriva. Varahadev fights with Hiranyaksha and so on. But it is said, Srila Prabhupada explains this many times in his purports and lectures, this is not the actual purpose of the Lord for appearing. It's not even his most glorious or significant deed, because it can be easily done by the time factor alone. It can just kill everyone, demons, or like the forces of nature. So this is not a big task, but actually what is significant is Paritanaya Sadhanam. This is what also Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in this, in his purport to this Bhagavad Gita shloka, to come and please his devotees. Because it said those who are truly God conscious, they always have a longing for the Lord. They feel, let's say, a transcendental unhappiness in their hearts because of separation, which also is a form of happiness on a higher sense, but they always are eager to see the Lord. The separation is difficult for them. And so Krishna chooses to appear and please them by accepting various forms, performing various pastimes, so that the hearts of the devotees are being nourished and satisfied. So that is the actual purpose of Krishna appearing. He's concerned with having loving exchanges with his devotees. And at the same time fulfilling the other mission of destroying the demonic forces. And many of you know, or like even not just know, performed yesterday a type of sacrifice, which is twice in a month. It's a fasting sacrifice called Ekadashi, where you refrain from eating grains and so on. The vow can be performed differently. There are different, levels of how severe you can fast or like perform austerity. It can simply mean you don't eat grains and beans and stuff on Ekadashi, so eat more light. It can also be I eat one meal less a day. Instead of morning, noon and evening, I just eat twice or just once. Some might just refrain completely from food and just drink water, or some traditionally not even water would be drunk. So this is one part of it. Then it's also increasing one's chanting, one's glorification, which might turn out difficult if your body is weak from the fasting, because you may struggle from headaches, maybe a bit nausea or weakness, tiredness, and so on. So, but this is a sacrifice recommended to please the Lord and to get closer to our spiritual consciousness, because we are not so much absorbed in our physical or mental needs, or at least we train ourselves to not be. And the day that follows Ekadashi, which is a very glorified day, and brings a lot of auspiciousness in one's spiritual life, the day followed by that is Dvadashi, which is today. And we also say Vamanadeva Katha, because this is significant in the pastime that we hear about today. Staunch Vaishnavas may also continue kind of fasting on that. It's described that on Dvadashi often those who follow that, they will drink only milk, not eat anything else. And this is also a vow that was being performed by Aditi. And Aditi is the mother of Vamanadeva. Mother in the sense that she plays the role of mother. Of course, we know Krishna never takes birth in the flesh. He's not an incarnation in that sense. The word incarnation is actually difficult. If you take it literally, it means incarnare, to become flesh. And this is against what our Vaishnava philosophy or theology teaches us. Krishna never enters the flesh or becomes flesh. Avatar is the right term, someone who steps down and appears in the material world. But when he comes in a human form, he has associates with him. And one type of associates are his parents. In this sense, they are Kashyapa Muni and Aditi. When he appears as in an animal form, like Matsya or Varaha, the agents that facilitate his appearance might be the elements. He might come out of the water, the Gabodaka ocean that fills half of the water, half of the space of the universe. Or Varahadev comes out of the nostril sometimes of Lord Brahma. Or even out of the earthen shell that surrounds the universe. It's described in many shells. And it's also said he resides there afterwards. They don't just disappear often, they remain, the avatars, in different places. So when he's a human, he has parents. And they perform like serious sacrifices in order to attain that role. It's not just like they're, okay, who wants to be parent this time? Okay, you. It's more like there must be a very intense, eager desire. Of course, we also hear he has eternal associates, so in a way they play the whole kind of sacrifice part because they are meant to be there, the eternal servants of the Lord. But also in this case, Kashyapa Muni and Aditi were deciding on a sacrifice. It's actually Aditi who was the one who felt the need to make the Lord appear. And this is a story that goes a bit back in the 8th canto to another pastime which is called the churning of the milk ocean. There's also a Sanskrit term, but now I forgot it, a lila. Because the personality that is responsible for Aditi's state of mind, that she feels a need to call the Lord, is Bali Maharaj, King Bali. He's a very significant figure in this pastime. And he managed to drive away all the demigods out of their heavenly residences. He conquered the whole universe. And not just out of nothing. There's a whole history between Bali, King Bali, and the demigods, King Indra particularly, which goes way back at the time when the demigods and the demons decided, or were actually inspired by Vishnu, to churn the milk ocean. The milk ocean is a place in the universe that is not visible to the material eye.
Sorry, what is to churn?
To quälen, den Milchozean quälen. Quäl, wie ein Quirl.
Ah.
Aufquälen, aufschäumen. Yeah. So, because what happened is the demons managed to overpower the demigods. And this was due to Indra's pride. Indra offended a great sage called Parashuram, and based on that, out of pride, and the sage Parashuram cursed Indra that the demigods will lose all their power. So the demons took the opportunity, got the overhand in the universe, and then the demigods took shelter at Brahma, and Brahma went to Vishnu. So this happens rather frequently in the universe, that Vishnu needs to be consulted or approached for help because the demigods are in trouble, and very often because of Indra, their leader. Wow. So the pastime of the churning of the milk ocean is a very also detailed pastime in itself. We just want to shortly mention it to give a bit of background for what's happening here in the Vamanadeva Lila. Because at the end it turned out that the demons were cheated of the promised nectar of immortality. The idea was that the milk ocean should be churned, and as a result, the nectar of immortality should come out. And this was attractive for everyone. Everyone was eager to be immortal, powerful in the material universe. So, and then an intense fight actually took place. And Bali Maharaj happened to be the commander-in-chief of the demons back then already. And interesting is Bali Maharaj descends from the line of Prahlad, which is a great devotee of the Lord. He's actually the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. The one in between is Virochana, that would be he's just mentioned by name in the Bhagavatam, there's not much more detail, to my knowledge at least. So he comes in that line, but he's still as Prahlad, someone who is the leader of the demons. Demons are even not just considered in terms of mentality, it's even said it's a race. Bhagavatam says that. Kashyapa Muni and had several wives. He was one of the gods who is a Prajapati. That means who can father other living entities. And with his wife Diti, he fathered the demons. He came out there. And with Aditi, the demigods. So they actually, demons, demigods have the same father, the great sage Kashyapa. So, and they differ, of course, in mentality, but both of them are aware of Vishnu, God, which is sometimes difficult to understand if we consider a demon to be an atheist. Because then also Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were great demons, but they were way more advanced than even our poor little selves, because they could see Vishnu even, they could talk to him and fight him. So they just had like different perceptions of who Vishnu is and who he's not. So, and it happened that Bali Maharaj almost died actually at that occasion when the fight on the Milk Ocean was going on. And it happened that Brahma interfered and they protected Bali Maharaj and some other demons because they didn't want that they all got, extinct or like distinct? No, what? Extinct, exactly.
Sorry, they didn't want to extinct?
That Brahma didn't they didn't want that the demons got extinct. They needed to protect the last few remaining ones, otherwise they would all be gone.
And?
Yeah, so, and then what happened is they brought them somewhere else, from some place, where there was the priest of the demons. The demigods have a main priest, and the demons for the demigods is Brihashpati, and for the demons Shukracharya, exactly. So he was powerful enough to bring him back to life. He was already kind of gone, but he was powerful enough to bring him back into his body. That's also how Bali Maharaj accepted Shukracharya as his guru, as a spiritual master. And then later on, Bali Maharaj performed powerful sacrifices to please the Brahmins, which was interesting. And by this he became very powerful. They asked him also to perform a particular sacrifice that made him capable to conquer the heavenly planets. So, and he did that. That was his long cherished desire to rule the universe. Once he got already heavily, he had a heavy setback, and Indra was his great enemy. So it was actually a revenge also. So there was a whole history before that. It's an ongoing battle. And so they managed to take over the heavenly planets, and the sons of Aditi, they were all exiled, so to speak, those who survived. They had to go into exile, could not stay here. This gave great distress to Aditi, and therefore she contemplated how to resolve the situation and turned to her husband Kashyapa, please instruct me what to do, how can we rectify the situation. And then he instructed her about the sacrifice called Payovrata. And that's what we call in Dvadashi. Also, which the main, or like one particular item is you only eat milk, nothing else, for 12 days. And there was a whole instruction, like a big list of prayers to be chanted, charity to be given, austerities to be performed. And Aditi did all that. So, and this made Vishnu appear. That was powerful enough. 12 days. 12 days to see Vishnu. Because they were very advanced personalities. So Vishnu appeared in front of her as Vishnu. As the four-armed form. and he expressed his empathy to a deity. If you read these parts of the Bhagavatam, it's interesting. He kind of reflected her, he kind of mirrored to her what's going on in her heart, her distress, how she feels about her sons being exiled and herself and the demon and so on. And then he said, yes, I will help you, but I cannot just kill Bali Maharaj. Often he would fight the demons, but he cannot. So why is that? Because Bali Maharaj was protected by the Brahmana's blessings. And Vishnu said, if I would not just kill Bali Maharaj, I would actually discredit the blessings of the Brahmanas. I cannot do that. He's Go-Brahmana Hitayacha, the one who pleases, or like whose heart are the Brahmins. And so he said, I cannot do that. So he had to find another way. And of course, Krishna is very intelligent. So what he did is, he actually chose to appear as a Brahmin himself. And that's Vamanadeva. So he first appeared as Vishnu, but this he often does, to make sure it's Vishnu. Right? And then he chooses another form, like Vamanadeva or someone else. And so it said like an artistic theater artist, he just switched forms, like a costume he took, and he became Vamanadeva. A beautiful little dwarf or like boy with golden hair, and it said the hair was also matted, like brahmachari, but austere. And first he was naked with nothing, but he was a beautiful, brilliant child. He was radiant, like more than the sunshine. He was very attractive to everyone because he's the Lord himself. And then all the demigods assembled and blessed him with various gifts and items. Mother Earth, for example, gave him the deerskin that he's wearing. Back in the days, brahmacharis were wearing deerskin. No saffron. Well, it's still different times. His father Kashyapa gave him a straw belt. King Indra, the king of heaven, gave him the umbrella, because we always see him with an umbrella. It's an interesting symbol also. It's about rulership under the umbrella of, as far as I remember correctly, Suryadev himself performed the second initiation. He got also his Brahmin thread. I think from Brahma he got his little pot, like a begging bowl, kind of. And actually the wife of Shiva, called that time Bhagavati, she gave the first alms. So he received various items and he was equipped. Like this beautiful picture. How we see Lord Vamanadeva being brought to the detail as we know him from pictures. So, and what do Brahmins do? They perform sacrifice, yajna. And also he performed one first. And then he went to see King Bali, all the demons, and he made them attracted to him simply by revealing his Brahman effulgence. He was very radiant. He was like a sun appearing. They were wondering, is the sun god appearing now? And so he chose to approach Bali Maharaj as a Brahmin, because he knew Bali Maharaj is inclined to serve the Brahmins. This is how he got his power in the first place. The Brahmin's blessing was protecting Bali Maharaj, actually. So then we know the story how he requested little alms, because that's what Brahmins do, and the kings usually inclined to give alms. And Bali Maharaj was very proud, and he first laughed at Vamanadeva to say, when he heard what he asked for, because he said, I am the Lord of all the universe, and I can give you anything. That's the big illusion that many demons are in, or like in general, the material mindset thinks I'm the owner of everything I see and have, and a false pride arises, claiming something ours that is actually not.
What did he ask for?
3 steps of land. he's going to ask for it. Because then Bali Maharaj laughed, you want 3 steps of land, you are a dwarf. It's like nothing. You're not very intelligent. Because he didn't know what was to come. And that's often that's the mind, that's the saying, appearances can be deceiving. It's very true here. Lord Vamanadeva appeared as a dwarf, and Bali Maharaj thought he deals with a little, very beautiful, attractive boy, who is powerful. So, and then as we know, Vamanadeva, in a very fascinating way, took his one step after the other by growing immensely. Already with the 2nd step, he was done with the universe, peaked with his toe to the shells of the universe, and made it break so that the Ganges water flowed through. So that's one kind of appears kind of a side effect of his pastime. And then he was challenging Bali Maharaj, okay, how do you keep your promise? I took already all the land that is to be taken. And Bali Maharaj then was, of course, completely humiliated, because he noticed, okay, there's a saying in English, your mouth gives checks that your body can't cash in, or something like that, or cash out. Something like that, you promise more than you are able to deliver. And then he offered his hand. Please put your feet on my head, because it's the only place, it's the left. So to surrender actually to being also, it's very significant, because in devotional life also the consciousness we want to attain is, Krishna, I'm yours. Everything I am, you own. The body is not mine, it's yours. My mind is not mine, it's yours. Even the very self, the Atma, is not mine. It's Krishna's energy. And that's a very significant point that is made also in the Sri Ishopanishad right at the beginning. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagadam jagat tena tyaktena bhujita makrita kashasvidhanam. Everything that is animated and not animated in the universe, or what we consider living or dead, whatever is the material energy, spirit, all those is owned and controlled by the Lord. Everyone should therefore just take whatever is meant as his quota, that's what you need, but not more than that, knowing well whom it belongs to. And we also as an energy, all the energies, material energy, the souls, the Tatashta Shakti it's called, it's also Vishnu's energy, he maintains it. Without him there wouldn't be this energy. We don't maintain, so to speak, ourselves. We are being maintained by Vishnu. And in that sense, he's our owner. Of course, he gives us a free will to decide what we do with ourselves, whether we remain in the spiritual realm, serve him, or whether we try to enter the material sphere. But the fact is, everything that exists because of him and through him. If he wouldn't want it to exist, it wouldn't. So this is the essential truth every individual soul is supposed to understand, and if it's truly understood, naturally surrender can happen. As long as this truth does not arrive in our hearts, penetrates our egos, we are not able to fully give ourselves. So it's a process. Of course, I'm also on my way. I'm not saying I'm there. Just intellectually, I can definitely understand that. That this is something which is required to really develop this consciousness of I'm Krishna's. He's practically not just our Lord who controls things, he's truly the one who I belong to. So, and he sometimes has to choose ways of trickery and deception, whatever, to get us to this understanding, to this realization. So Bali Maharaj was a very great personality who thought, who owns the universe, so he showed it like this. In our lives, he might show us in other ways how we are an illusion in terms of being the owner and possessor of things. It simply takes them away as a time factor. Everything, however dear we hold it to us in our hearts, however much we try to protect it. At some point when Krishna says it's time, then it's time. No bargaining, for more or less, just gone. So it said this is supposed to make us aware, of this very truth, that we do not own things and we do not, we are not the possessor, or like the owner, rightful owner. Yes, so this was kind of, in short, a bit about Vamanadeva pastimes. So if you have time, please go through the 8th canto and perhaps start also from the pastime of the journeying of the milk ocean till the pastime of appearance of Vamanadeva, because there you get so many detailed informations and context about what's happening in the universe and how many Dash avatars actually overlappingly exist. Sometimes we get the impression one after the other is there, but at the time of Kurmadev, then there was also Mohini Murti is another form that arrived. And then also in this pastime of Vamanadeva, Parashuram, for example, is there. He's also there in Ram Leela. He just leaves when King Ram or Ram does defeat him. And someone else is also there. Yeah, so it's very interesting to read through all that. And in this way remember Krishna and his pastimes. Hare Krishna. So we have some few minutes, if you like, for any question or comment, if you want to. The microphone will be there. Alright. If there are none, then there are none. Don't have to force anything. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Vamanadeva ki jai.
Was ist der Schloka und was ist die Nummer von der Buch?
Wo ist das in Bhagavatam?
Wo kann ich das lesen?
Ich habe jetzt etwas verteilt über den ganzen 8. Kanto gesprochen. Im 8. Kanto findest du die gesamten Kapitel zu Vamanadeva. Da hat es viele. Ich habe jetzt etwas gesammelt von hier und da. Ich habe keinen bestimmten Vers. So I picked from the 8th canto. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, but the books might be more because the first canto sometimes is split in 2. Also from the 10th canto we might have 4 books. If you, 8. Kanto. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.